obviously that's a roof that you're going to put on this house, and it's virtually a maintenance-free roof. Yeah, that's a roof you're going to put on this house, and it's probably going to be your last one.
Welcome to another episode of Direct Metal Roofing Podcast, and I'm super excited today because today we not only have an excellent guest, but also a very good friend of mine, Brian, with Tri-County Metals. So we're looking forward to a very cool interview today. So Brian, I already gave a little bit of the information away. You're obviously working for Tri-County Metals.
That's right.
You are our rep. You take care of us, and we'll get into that a little bit more into the podcast. But before we talk about business and anything else, I want to know a little bit about you. Who is Brian? What do you like doing outside of work? What do you do with your family? Tell us something that we don't know about you.
Absolutely. Super excited to be here. Thank you guys very much. So I am Brian, Tri-County Metals rep. Been in Florida since 2008. Originally hailing from the Washington, D.C. area, born and raised up there. As far as hobbies and things like that, you know, we spend a good amount of time just traveling. We like to go to different cities. Not so much traveling abroad, but just going to different cities in the U.S. We love the mountains. We like to visit little, small towns across the country. So a lot of fun for us there. We're big football fans.
Yeah.
So we like to watch football on the weekends. And whenever there's not a football game going on, then we like to be out on the water. We like to get out on a boat or island hop, those type of things. So it's pretty much takes up all of our time from there.
Awesome. Absolutely. Well, that's good. Traveling is always a good thing. My wife and I like traveling as well.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that. We appreciate it.
Of course.
By the way, how is your family doing? Everybody good?
Very well. Doing very well. Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So we spoke a little bit about Brian and what he does at Tri-County Metals. So at Direct Metal Roofing, we order most of our metal packages, if not all of our metal packages, through Tri-County. And what they do is they deliver the metal that the customers order. They deliver them right to the customer's home. And then that's when our crew gets there and we start installing. Mm-hmm. So we really have enjoyed the partnership with you and Tri-County. So we have a couple questions for Brian about what he does at TCM. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what your specific role at TCM really is?
Certainly. So I'm the business development manager for the southeast of Florida. So I cover everywhere from Brevard County all the way down to Miami. So it's a pretty big area to cover. But I personally service the southeast side of Tri-County Metals. I am responsible for contractor relationships. So that is just culminating relationships and finding new friends. A lot of times that's what happens is that I just become very good friends with my contractor, as you know. So it makes the relationship a lot more fun that way. But I am responsible for the contractor relations on Southeast. That's what I do.
That is awesome. And you guys don't know this on camera, but I'll see if Anthony can get a picture and put it somewhere on this thing later. Not only does he do all of that, but he also wears the coolest boots ever. This man has so many boots, and every time I see him, it's a different pair, and they look amazing. I'm not talking about work boots. I'm talking about real animal skin, amazing boots. So hats off to you there.
Thank you.
All right. So I don't know anybody else who's probably seen more metal than you and the people at TCM. So my next question is, there's a lot of metal applications out there. What is your personal favorite metal roofing system?
Sure. So that's a little bit of a loaded question, Tony, because there's so many different applications for this metal roofing. As you guys know, and you are a full service contractor, so you do install every single one of those type of profiles that we have. So when it really just depends on the application that you have as the homeowner. If it's a residential house, if it's a commercial building, if you have a certain style of the house too. Here in Brevard County, we've got a lot of homes that are on the registry, that are older homes that require a specific style metal roofing. So metal roofing as a whole is a huge upgrade over other options that you have for that roof. But as far as this specific profile on them, you've got the standing seam hidden fastener roofs. You've also got exposed fastener with the Ultra Rib Classic panel and the 5V panels. So a little bit of a loaded question on the favorite. The material is really the most important part, which is that metal part. The way that the profile goes is really based on your application.
Absolutely. So if you have a customer that's on the fence, whether they want exposed fastener or whether they want standing seam. And this might be another loaded question.
Sure.
How would you help a customer kind of decide or steer them which is the right one for their personal home?
Sure. Obviously, the most important thing that customers have in mind, especially nowadays, is budget. The budget is definitely a big thing for you as a homeowner. So your exposed fastener roof is definitely going to be the more budget-friendly roofing system. You're able to get all the advantages of having a metal roof, but you're able to get it at that price point that might be a little more comfortable for you as a homeowner. The standing seam roof with that hidden fastener, obviously, that's a roof that you're going to put on this house, and it's virtually a maintenance-free roof. That's a roof you're going to put on this house, and it's probably going to be your last one.
No doubt.
It definitely does come with a different price point. So when you're looking at which direction to go, both options are a huge upgrade for you over other roofing systems. But the standing seam roof is certainly going to be literally the last roof that you put on the house. An exposed fastener roof still is going to be a lifelong option. A lifelong option. You just may have a few maintenance items that you have to do down the road, but that's still far less than any other roofing systems that you could put up there.
I couldn't have answered that question any better myself. That's what we do at Direct Metal Roofing. We give the customer all of the options and let them choose. And most of the time it does come down to budget. I mean, we all have a budget in mind and we all need to stick within our budget. But even if you go with the exposed fastener system, which is the more affordable of the two, you get all the benefits. You get all the benefits of metal. You get all the benefits of standing seam metal. So even if you go with the exposed fastener, it's still such a big upgrade compared to something like a shingle application.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let me see my next question here for you. I knew I had some good questions, so I wanted to write them all down. All right, so here's one that I get all the time. Does metal roofing increase your value of your property?
That is a great question. I get asked it all the time. There are third-party sources out there that do say that a metal roof on your house does increase the value of your house by an average of about 6%. Now, we're not talking 6% of the cost of the roof. We're talking about 6% of the value of your house. That is the industry standard and the industry average that you will see that increase in the value of your house for sure.
That is a great answer. And I challenge you as a homeowner to Google this.
Yes.
Go ahead and when you're in front of a computer or your phone, Google, does a metal roof increase my property value? And you'll see all those third-party people that were explaining that what Brian was explaining about those third-party people. You'll see all of them come up as to why a metal roof does in fact increase the value of a home. And 6% is huge.
It's huge.
6% is huge. You got a $200,000, $300,000 home. 6% of that is really huge. So
absolutely.
That's something people don't see. You pay a fraction of a percentage more compared to the 6% overall that you get with the home value. So that is incredible.
Now, I know you guys at Direct Metal, you're through all of your media and things, you are advocates for customers doing research. You absolutely push that for them to see those third-party resources and reviews and things. And it's important because it's not just Direct Metal Roofing telling you a specific answer. It's not just Tri-County Metals telling you a specific answer. It's actual resources that have done the research and know the answers to these questions.
Absolutely. Third-party testing. I mean, they've done the research, they've done the fact checking, and 6% is a huge increase to the property value for sure. Okay, here's another question. What are the top 3 metal roofing colors?
Oh, yeah. So that has definitely changed over the years.
Hasn't it?
It's amazing. It also has a lot to do with regional as well, where that roof is being installed. Of course, in Florida, we've got we got kind of an interesting demographic here, actually, in Florida. It's pretty neat because we have a lot of coastal areas. We have a lot of beachfront areas. Then we also have very agricultural areas here in Brevard County too. So you've got the horse farms, you've got the cattle farms and things. So demographically, it definitely adjusts on those colors, but a darker roof is definitely the trend right now. A black metal roof, a dark bronze metal roof. Yeah. Those colors are just hotter than a firecracker right now, and it just just makes those houses look so bold. So
Yeah.
that is the hottest trend right now, is a black metal roof.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Since I've started, we've only been in business for 6 years. And since we've started, I've seen the transition of people wanting a white metal roof or a light colored metal roof to just what you said, dark, black, bronze. These are the colors that people want, dark grays. I personally, we just put a bronze roof on our house, as you know, and we love it. You know, it's a great roof.
Yeah, and it was also, I'm not sure if I'm getting ahead of you here, Tony, but you know, the colors, there's a lot of misinformation there as well on, well, man, but if I put a black roof or a dark bronze roof on my house, is it going to be so much hotter?
Yep.
It's just simply not the case. I'm not sure if that's a question that's coming up or not. But,
so I got one. Yeah. Why choose a painted metal roof? That was my next question. But you know what? Let's get into what you just said a little bit more, because I really want homeowners, I really want people to understand. So, so tell me right now, let's pretend I have a white shingle roof, white shingle roof, the absolute coolest shingle color you could possibly have, light gray or white. And now I transition to a black metal roof.
Yes.
Will that benefit me as a homeowner? Going from a white shingle roof to even the darkest color, a black metal roof.
Absolutely, it will. So you have two characteristics when you're gauging the energy efficiency of your roofing system, whether it be shingle, metal, or tile. Okay, those two things are the reflectivity of that material and the emissivity of that material. Google those words and you'll figure that out. But the reflectivity, a little bit more of an obvious thing. That is the amount of UV rays that are being reflected off of the roof. So when that sun is shining at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and it hits that roof, the amount of UV rays that are reflected off of that roof is your reflectivity value. Okay. The reflectivity value of a metal roof versus a shingle roof. Let's just break those down. For instance, not even necessarily the colors, but just the purpose of it is, an asphalt shingle roof is just like your driveway. It's just like the road that goes into your neighborhood. It is an asphalt material that absorbs the heat. When it's 98 degrees outside and you walk out to your mailbox barefoot, it's not fun. All right.
Nope.
That's the same thing that's happening with your shingle roof when it's on the house. Okay. Those UV rays are absorbed into that shingle, whether it's white, whether it's gray, whether it's black, whether it's brown, it's being absorbed. Now, the lighter color shingles, obviously there's a range of how much is absorbed. The lighter you go, the better it'll be on a shingle. But a shingle has a reflectivity rate of anywhere from 4 to 8%. All right. That means that 92 to 96% of the UV rays that are hitting that roof in the morning are being absorbed into that shingle. Okay. When it gets absorbed into that shingle, it goes into the underlayment, it goes into the decking, it goes into the trusses, and ultimately ends up in your attic of your house.
That's why it takes so long to cool your home.
That's correct. The average attic temperature of a shingle roof in Florida is about 140 degrees on a 90-degree day. Okay. When you go to a metal roof, you've got a reflectivity rate. Now, the range on shingles, we heard the range was 4 to 8%. On metal roof, the range is a lot larger. It can go anywhere from 27% all the way up to the mid 80%, depending on the color that you choose.
It's amazing.
But think about that for a second. Even on the darkest metal roof that you can put on that house, which would be a black metal roof, still has a 27% reflectivity rate. It is 5 times more reflective than the lightest shingle roof.
That's amazing.
Even if you go to the darkest metal roof. So big difference there. Emissivity, that other scientific word we mentioned, is your roofing system's ability to cool down once the sun goes behind a cloud, or if it sets for the night. Okay, your emissivity rating on shingles is again 4 to 8%. Means it's taking well longer than an hour for that roof to cool down and release all the heat out of that thing. A metal roof, again, has that average anywhere from that 30 to 80% range. So that painted cool roof is cooling down over an hour's period 5 times, 7 times, 8 times faster than a shingle roof will.
That's right. That's right. And the cooler the metal gets, the cooler the home gets.
Correct.
So the metal cools down so much faster than the shingles. It's amazing. It really is.
And that reflectivity rate and that emissivity rate brings that average attic temperature down to 105 degrees on a 90-degree day in Florida.
No, that's a 40, 35 to 50
35 degree difference in your attic equals air conditioning savings inside your home.
No doubt. And that's why if you Google again, does a metal roof save me on electricity? It actually will show you that a metal roof will, in fact, have some savings attached to it because of all those things, the reflectivity and the emissivity, which is why I love what I do, man. I love
absolutely. So do I.
I sure do. Awesome. Okay, so next question. We got, well, you already went over this. Why choose a painted metal roof? You went through a lot of the benefits. And so let's move on to the next one. This is a good question. Our customers ask us this all the time. What is a cool roof?
Yeah. So all of our metal that is painted from the manufacturer all has a Energy Star rating, that it is Energy Star rated as a cool metal roof. So it ties into what we talked about with that emissivity and reflectivity. A cool metal roof is going to be any color. It can be black, it can be white, or anything in between, qualifies as an Energy Star rated. Now, everybody knows what Energy Star is. You've got that Energy Star rating on all of your appliances in your house. You've got that Energy Star rating on the windows of your house. Basically, anything that takes power or efficiency from the power grid of our nation is going to have a rating from the government, and that's a third party as well. You can talk about that from, or you can Google that to see what Energy Star is. All of our painted roofs are Energy Star rating, and that classifies it as a cool metal roof.
I told you he knows more about roofs than anybody else you know. This guy, you don't have to Google, just call him.
There you go.
Now, we're actually getting to my favorite part of this interview.
Yes,
this whole time I was waiting and rushing to get here because it seems like every single customer that our team sees, and we see a lot of customers on a monthly basis, they all have these bizarre ideas of metal, what it does, what it doesn't do. So we're here to tell you the truth about some metal myths.
Yes.
Okay, so the first one, Brian, does metal roofs attract lightning? I really want a metal roof, but I don't want to put it on my house because we're going to get struck by lightning all the time, Brian.
Yeah. So there are more resources out there to be able to Google that, third parties that talk about this. A metal roof is no more attractive to lightning than any other roofing system that you can put on that house. In fact, you actually get an added benefit to having a metal roof on your house in a lightning situation, because metal roofing has a Class A fire rating, where other materials that you can put on your house do not have that Class A fire rating. So if your home were to get struck by lightning, you actually have more protection with that metal roof because it's not going to catch on fire. That's right.
That's right. That's great. That is so true. Here's a metal myth number 2. I really want a metal roof, but it's going to be so noisy. I can't deal with all that noise. I'm not going to get a metal roof.
Sure.
What do you say to that, Brian?
So there are many things that go into the sound that you get from your metal roof. Okay. There's the shape, the style of your house. You know, the pitch of your house makes a big difference. How much attic space you have makes a big difference. How much insulation you have in your attic makes a big difference. There's many different factors on there. And all of those different types of roofs can sound a little bit different during rain. But I mean, they make country songs about rain on a tin roof. You know, it puts you to sleep. You know? So to answer that question honestly, there could be a possibility of hearing some rain. Is it going to be so loud that you can't hear yourself talk? Absolutely not. It's not going to be. The underlayment on the house is going to sound deaden a lot. The insulation in the attic, the style of the roof, the decking itself, all of those factors go into keeping that metal roof quiet. So long story short is no, it is not going to be unbearably different in noise.
Out of all the myths, I do understand why people feel that way about this one.
That,
Because of what you just mentioned, those old barns where they had the tin right on top of the trusses and nothing underneath.
And nothing underneath.
When it rains, it's very loud.
Yep.
But in your residence, in a home application, because of everything that you just mentioned, it's totally different.
Right.
So I do understand where that one comes from.
Sure.
All right. Myth number 3. I really want a metal roof, but I know it's going to rust.
Yeah. So that is something that is a common question all the time as well. You definitely have different profiles and different metal substrates that are available. You have your 24 and 26 gauge and 29 gauge steels, and you also have your 032 aluminum. That question is going to be answered based on your demographic of where the house is going as well. All of these houses, depending on your closeness and proximity to saltwater, there can be some situations where you might see some surface rust if you put steel too close to salt water. Okay. That's a known fact. But as far as the everyday occurrence of a steel metal roof in an area that's not in salt water, that goes to the quality of the installation and the contractor that you choose to put that metal roof on. A proper installation of a steel metal roof and the proper trimming. And and what I mean by trimming is the way that you cut those panels to make them form on that roof. There are installation processes that keep that metal roof from rusting. One of those being you don't use any high-powered cutters to trim those panels and things because it burns off the clear coat. Now I'll get to what the clear coat means in just a second there, but that's the importance of a metal roofing contractor knowing what they're doing on an installation.
No doubt.
Knowing the proper tools and the proper methods on installing that roof makes a big difference on any type of rust or anything showing up. So that clear coat that I was talking about, that is your Galvalume zinc coating that goes on all of our metal panels. So these panels, before they get roll formed to put on your house, they go through a process that runs them through a zinc bath. Mm-hmm. That coating is called the AZ55 Galvalume coating. That Galvalume coating completely encompasses that metal package. And that Galvalume coating is what can get damaged if you don't install the roof the proper way. And if that coating gets damaged, then you could have some problems in the future. But that AZ55 coating is, it's a self-healing coating. It's actually pretty neat because a lot of people are thinking, okay, well, I see you install it properly, but how did you cut it? You know, when you cut that raw edge, it leaves a raw edge on that cut metal. But that AZ55 coating actually has a self-healing proponent to it that grows back over top of that raw cut edge. So you are fully protected on that metal package.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Yeah. A lot of scientific stuff that you can Google as well.
No doubt, no doubt. They put it this way. At Direct Metal Roofing, we do almost about 600 roofs a year, and we've never seen any of Tri-County's metal roofing rust. And what he mentioned is very true. The installers have a lot to deal with that. Yeah. But for the most part, a metal roof won't rust on you as long as it's good quality metal and as long as it's installed properly.
Yep.
So this isn't so much of a myth, but this is such a question that we get asked all the time. I definitely want to ask you this question. So will my metal roof dent easily? It's metal. It's a thin piece of metal for the most part. It's not super thick. So if hail hits the house, or will it dent if anything hits it?
Right. So that's a question that's come up in Florida a whole lot more recent. We would have never thought that hail issues would be an issue in Florida here, but it has been the last few years. So Mother Nature is getting on us here, I guess.
Yeah, they sure are.
So with the hail situation, all of our metal roofing is tested for penetration and dent resistance. All of our metal has a Class 4 rating. What that means is that they basically took a 2-inch steel ball, dropped it from 20 feet above to test the resistance of this metal. Okay. Now you have two different situations here, and it's important that customers understand what is being tested. Okay. What is being tested is there's two things. There's aesthetics that are being tested, and then there's the structural integrity that's being tested. When you get that Class 4 rating, it's the structural integrity that hail is not going to penetrate your roofing system. Okay. And that's important, whether it's metal, whether it's shingle, whether it's tile, is that what is most importantly tested is that if we have a hailstorm,
Yep.
that you are not going to have a hole in your roof.
Correct.
Okay. That's the most important thing for you as a homeowner, is that it's not going to completely penetrate that. And that's why metal roofing has a class 4 rating on that. It's the highest rating that you can get. The aesthetics version of it, there's a lot of factors that go into that. It all depends on the style of your house, depends on the pitch of your house, because that testing happens as well. If you've got a completely flat metal roof and that hail is hitting it directly, it can cause more aesthetic issues than a house that's a 612 pitch, because that hail is going to hit it and roll off and bounce off. So highest rating that you can get, class 4 rating on aesthetics and on structural integrity. Could there be some aesthetic issues if we have a major hailstorm?
Absolutely.
You could certainly get a few dents and dings, but the most important part is that your roof is not going to structurally break down. It's not going to go through that panel at all.
Yeah. And that was all a scientific part. Now, the practical part is last year when we had that big hailstorm, we literally went by all of our customers, not all of them, but we went by quite a few of them because it was the first big hailstorm that we've had since we've been in business. Yep. So I wanted to know firsthand how many of our roofs got dented. And I'm not exaggerating, 0. We didn't see one of our roofs with dents. Now, granted, like you just mentioned, doesn't mean that it won't happen if the hail's large enough. It obviously can. But in this instance, the two times it happened here in Florida, we've had 0 calls on dented metal. And I just want to let you know that too. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's the importance of that as well, to understand too the severity of the hailstorm. You know, the type of hailstorms that we have here in Florida, we've seen a lot more of them recently. However, they are not quite the severity that you can see in some other states as well. Absolutely. Where, I mean, there are some houses that hail can go through the decking. Yeah. I mean, they get hurt bad. Definitely. So your Florida hail here, as you've attested to on your roofs, you're not seeing any aesthetic issues on them.
Absolutely. That's good. Okay. And so the last question I have customers asking us this all the time. Okay.
I think I know which one it's going to be.
I'm sure you do. So you want a metal roof, right? But you're not sure because we all like to use our cell phones. And if we get a metal roof, then we can't use our cell phones anymore because we have 0 signal. Right. What do you say to that?
Absolutely 100% a myth.
Absolutely.
So there, I can also give you the scientific answer to that. I like having data behind certain answers. Yep. And again, it's a third-party situation that you can Google as well. But the only thing that you see in metal roofing is if you are in an area that already has signal problems, you're still going to have signal problems. Okay. A metal roof is not going to amplify any issues that are currently there at your house. Okay. Usually we all use our phones when we walk into a grocery store, when we walk into a mall to go shopping. Most all of those buildings have metal roofs on them or metal areas that are covered in metal. So we don't lose signal in those things. So there's no reason you would lose signal in your house. If you're losing any signal, probably because you didn't have any service before the metal roof was put on there. So
that's a great point. That's what actually we tell our customers. We say, listen, when you look at different municipalities, you look at fire departments, you look at public schools, and they're all transitioning to a metal roof.
Right.
They are doing that because they know the longevity of a metal roof is second to none. But they really wouldn't be putting metal roofs on if, in fact, the fire department had no signal, if the school had no reception. I mean, it just wouldn't be happening. So it is definitely a myth. And you answered that question beautifully. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
We appreciate it. Yeah, we definitely appreciate Tri-County as a whole entire team because you guys are great. The service you guys provide is amazing. And you specifically, Brian, the support you give our team is second to none. So we really appreciate you guys. It was a great interview, man. I mean, I appreciate it. I love hearing you talk. I'm a roof nerd, so I like hearing all the scientific facts and all the points. But we really appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I love having answers. I love having answers that are backed up by statistics. Yep. Anybody can just say anything that they want to. I like to have answers that come from people that know a whole lot more than me.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, all the existing customers and all the new customers out there, future new customers. We really appreciate you. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to call us. We're always here to serve our community. Brian, thanks again for coming out, my man.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.